Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Hole. My name is Cole, and yes, another 1980 classic. What a year for music. So today we're talking about the debut album from Los Angeles punk band X, which is called Los Angeles. And their sound is really interesting. It's a blend of 50s rockabilly with, late 70s punk music. And it's also got really interesting interplay between male vocalist John Doe and female vocalist Xtine. Which, by the way, those are really cool rock and roll names. I like it. But anyway, let's dive right in with track 1, which is called Your Phone's Off the Hook, But You're Not. I just love this song. The guitar work on this album just really stands out. It's one of the best parts about this band, in my opinion. And I really like this song too, because this poor woman, right? She feels totally underappreciated, and she's getting the runaround from her husband, who's probably like off cheating on her or something. Because she says, a wife that nobody likes is what she says. So she's calling in, checking in on her husband, and he's like, oh, there's no parking anywhere. New York is the towaway zone everywhere, and we spent all our money, so we probably can't get home tonight, or whatever BS he comes up with. So this relationship's totally doomed. Is probably what is what it's getting at. So anyway, I like the song. It's a great beginning to the album. But let's move on. Let's talk about track 2 next, which is called Johnny Hit and Run Pauline.
Sterilized hypo to shoot a sex machine drug. It got 24 hours to shoot off all in between the legs. 96 tears through 24 hours. Sex once every hour. Johnny hit and run Paulene. Johnny hit and run Paulene. Johnny hit and run Paulene.
Yeah, that beginning guitar part is just so good. It reminds me of Chuck Berry. I mean, I definitely think they were influenced by Chuck Berry. But this is such a sexy rock and roll song in its purest form, right? Because this guy literally is just like getting super high on ecstasy or whatever it is, and just his main mission for the next 24 hours is to just sleep with as many women as possible, just sleep them and dump them, right? Johnny Hit and Run Pauline, being the name of the song. So he's just trying to live life to its fullest. He doesn't care if he lives or dies young. He's one of those guys. Can't get much more rock and roll than that, in my opinion. But anyway, so that's track 2. It's just a very memorable song. Tracks 1 and 2 have great hooks. Oh my goodness. But anyway, let's move on to track 3, which is called Soul Kitchen.
I wanna stay now.
Yeah, this is a pretty depressing song, I would imagine. I mean, it sounds like this guy is just going to the bars all the time, you know, and he stays at the bars getting drunk until it's closing time, and then he kind of stumbles along back to his ex-lover, I guess, is what it sounds like. So he's constantly bothering his ex-girlfriends. You know, it's like 3 a.m. or whatever. He's super drunk, and he's just like, "Can I just like crash in your place? You know, I don't want to drive because I don't want to drink and drive," or whatever BS he says, right? But he's trying to forget, right? He says, "Learn to forget." So it sounds like this breakup totally devastated this guy. Now he's just getting drunk all the time, and you know, all he can think about is his ex-girlfriend, and he's probably a little bit of a stalker now, right? He's kind of a little bit of a creep because he's going to her place all the time at like 3 or 4 in the morning. So yeah, this poor guy, he needs to he needs to move along. He needs to forget about his girl. You know, we can all relate to that on some level. But anyway, a really cool song. Track 4 is interesting. It's called Nausea. Let's check it out. Yeah, so I imagine it's the same character from the last track, right? He's just totally drunk. The ex-girlfriend probably said, "Get the hell out of my apartment," or whatever. And so he stumbles home and he just passes out, you know, with his clothes on, and he's just totally nauseated and just probably throwing up constantly. But I like the line. He says, "For lunch, that's all you get to taste, poverty and spit." So that kind of means, like, I would imagine this guy is spending all of his money, his hard-earned money, getting drunk, right? It's the only thing making him feel slightly better. You know, sounds like he doesn't have a great job. He doesn't have a lot of money. So the only money he spends is at the bar, right? So he's really down and out. He needs to figure out his life. This poor guy. But I like this song quite a bit because I like the chorus, how she sings it. You know, nausea, bloody red eyes girl. You know, but anyway. So let's move on to track number 5, which is called Sugarlight.
Sugarlight, we're addicts. Why do you think we came? He's pasting gold leeches on my arm.
I mean, they're just going for it, right? Just drunkards and drug addicts. They're just talking about the most down and out people in the most down and out part of town, right? I mean, someone's got to talk about these people. They're real people with feelings. They exist. They deserve attention. So we're talking about, this couple, or maybe they're not even a couple, but this guy's shooting up. He's tying his arm off and shooting up on heroin or whatever. And he's probably making out with some girl who's also a drug addict, right? It sounds like pretty much their entire existence revolves around getting high, passing out, waking up, trying to get high again. I mean, I've never done any drugs, so I can't pass any judgment in the sense of like, I have no idea what addiction means. Like, I know what addiction means, but I don't know what it means, right? If that makes sense. I've never had to deal with weaning off anything. So I can't blame these people. Maybe in high school they wanted to be cool, so they went to cool parties with the cool kids, and they're like, hey, try this out, man. You're not cool if you don't try this cocaine with us. So they tried the cocaine, and then, the next 10 years of their life, they're totally addicted. So, I can't blame people. Sometimes life will just kind of screw you over in ways you don't expect because you weren't ready. And I would say that most drug addicts, it seems like, get involved with drugs in their teenage years when it's their most impressionable years, right? They want to fit in. So anyway, I appreciate that they're talking about these people. They deserve to be mentioned and thought about. They exist. They have feelings. But anyway, that's Sugarlight. Let's move on to track 6, which is called Los Angeles, the name of the album. Let's check it out. Yeah, I just love the hooks on this song. And it's a very sad song because I imagine a character, this woman who I guess wanted to maybe become a model or something, or an artist, or I don't know. So she moves to Los Angeles from like a small town, and she has all these hopes and dreams, right? But she gets caught up in the party scene, is what I imagine. She starts to drink a lot and do a lot of drugs, right? And she gets mistreated by everyone in town because she's kind of not smart enough. She's not socially smart enough to recognize bad things when they, materialize. So anyway, so she gets caught up in all that bad stuff, and she gets used and abused, and she starts just hating everybody. She's just full of hatred now because she's probably an addict. She's probably drunk all the time. And, as I mentioned, she's been used and abused, so she's just blaming everything on everyone else. It's everyone else's fault. It's not my fault. It's not like she's thinking like, oh, I could have said no. She probably thought to herself like, well, if I want to get noticed, I have to play along. I have to try to be cool and go to these parties. And, if that producer wants me to do cocaine, then I'll do cocaine. And, oh, if he wants to have sex with me, then maybe he'll give me a role in something because, I'm playing along. I'm playing the game. I imagine all these things happen to this person. I don't know if that's technically what the song is about specifically, but I imagine all these things. So, Los Angeles is definitely the city where that kind of thing happens, right? So anyway, really cool song. I like it a lot. But anyway, let's move on to track 7, which is another interesting song. It's called Sex and Dying in High Society.
You started out that way. You do anything to stay. I keep your money, boys, made of silver and gold. I keep your bikinis, dark cigarettes.
And your lighter that looks just like dawn.
So you married your daddy with a different name. Sex and dying in high society. Sex and dying in high society. Sex and dying in high society. Sex and dying in high society.
So I have a theory about this song, and what I mean is, I imagine this woman who comes from high society, and it sounds like in her world, she's not expected to be anything special. What I mean by that is she's not expected to make a lot of money herself. So the only way that she can remain in high society is to, be obsessed with like beauty products and getting really fit and thin and in shape, and, like trying to turn on other high society guys. Like she's expected to be kind of just a trophy wife is what it sounds like. And that's the only way she's going to remain in high society, right? So it sounds like this poor woman is just kind of a toy, right? She's not expected to be anything more than a toy for the men of the high society. I imagine that's what they're kind of maybe getting at with this song, or at least it makes me think of that. So it's a very sad kind of tale. This poor lady, she's too afraid to not have a lot of money and do her own thing. So she plays the game, and by playing the game, she devalues herself, so to speak. So anyway, I like this song quite a bit. It's got a really memorable hook. But anyway, the last clip I have for you guys is from the final track, track 9, which is called The World's a Mess. It's In My Kiss. So there's one line in particular that really interested me and I want to talk about, which is, there are no angels, there are devils in many ways, take it like a man. So I like that because it's a realistic viewpoint of real life and of other people. And you're trying to remind yourself that nobody's perfect, that everyone has their own demons. Not everybody has lived a noble life, so to speak. In my own life, I've done things I'm not proud of that are kind of devilish-y, to some extent. So it's trying to remind you that just because somebody appears to be an amazing, nice, kind person, they've probably done things that they don't, they shouldn't have done, that they regret doing. They're not perfect. Nobody's an angel. Nobody's a saint, even if they seem like a saint or an angel. Just keep in mind that everyone has flaws, is basically what I get from this song. So I respect that. I dig that philosophy. If you approach people like that everyone has their own issues and their own flaws, everyone has done things they're not proud of, I think that's a good way to approach life. But anyway, so that's the last track. This album is really, really short, by the way. It's probably the shortest album I'll ever cover on this channel. It's 27 minutes long, but it's just such a great 27 minutes. Oh my goodness. Again, if you like punk music, you can't go wrong with Los Angeles. It's just really strong stuff. And I hope you thought it was interesting at the very least. I hope you enjoyed some of the songs. Let me know as per usual your thoughts, if you liked it or if you didn't like it or whatever. I'll check them out. But if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It'd really help me out. But yeah, that's X. That's Los Angeles. Check it out and have a good one.